Listen here, listen here, listen here. Welcome to the Vitamin M Show with your girl, Marshall Sterling. Listen, this is the pre-show prep because it is going down on tonight. It's going down on tonight. Listen, it's gonna be real up in here on tonight. And I always want to ensure that you are ready. Hey, ready. Ready. You have to be ready for the show on tonight. I don't want you to miss anything. Listen, if you need to go back and do replay, you may have to go back on tonight and do the replay. Listen, I am excited about what you are going to encounter on tonight. Just a little snippet into what you're going to encounter on tonight. I'm just going to give you the topic. I hope you fail. I hope you fail. I hope you fail. Get your pencil, get your paper, get your note-taking device. Open up your heart, open up your mind, and get ready for your vitamin M on tonight. I hope you fail. This is your vitamin M. This is your motivation for the week. Get your vitamins. I see you getting your vitamins A. I see you getting your vitamins A. I see you getting your vitamins A. Get your vitamins A. Get your vitamins. Get your vitamins. Yes! Good evening! Good evening! We in the house tonight. Hey, we in the house tonight. Hey, we in the house tonight. Hey, we in the house tonight. Go get your vitamins. Hey, go get your vitamins. Hey, get your vitamins. Get your vitamins. Get your vitamins. Yeah! I want to personally welcome you to the Vitamin M Show. I am your host. I am your hot girl. I am your guide for the next 30 minutes. Listen, I have to get this thing in 30 minutes, and I am here to help you go to the next level. I am here to help you journey on to the next level. Listen, you have so much to do. You have so much that you need to accomplish. And the Vitamin M Show is here to ensure that you get there. You cannot be on the sideline. Listen, you gotta be up in this thing. You gotta be in the game on tonight. And what is our purpose for the Vitamin M? Why do I show up here every Sunday night at 6:30? It is to ensure that we, not just you, but that we are able to do three things. We are able to do what? Break down walls, to produce positive thinking, and to exhibit resilience amid any situation. We want to be able to show up and show out. We want to be able to show up and be our authentic self. That is our purpose. That is why we are here. At the end of every Vitamin M show, you should be able to say, am I able to break down the walls in my life? Am I able to produce positive thinking? And am I able to utilize what Marshall said to exhibit resilience amid any situation? I continue to show up and show out on the show because I want you to get there. I don't want to just get there by myself, but we are in this thing together. I want us together is better. Together is better. Together is better. Listen, I'm walking my purpose out every single solitary day, and I want you to be able to do the same thing. Listen, I have a message for you on tonight. And if there had ever been a motivational message, listen, this one is going to challenge your inner status quo. This one is going to speak to the inner you. It is the message for you. This is the message for you on tonight. It is the one that you need to hear. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not afraid to get in your face about it. I'm not afraid because I've been destined to do this. I am built for this. I am built to get behind your back and tell you, let's go. We have work to do. You have something that you need to accomplish. And I'm trying to figure out, why are you not there yet? What are you waiting on? The time is now. The time is now. Well, guess what? Your girl is up for the job because I am your coach. I am your motivator. And I wouldn't be the right coach. I wouldn't be the right motivator if I did not tell you a strong message. I hope you fail. I hope you fail. I'll say it again. I hope you fail. I hope you fail. Yes, you heard me correctly. You heard me right. Did you hear me? You heard me. Did you hear me? Yes, you heard me. You heard me correctly. And you probably sitting there wondering the same way I did when I began to ponder and to think about this thing. Marshall, is that a motivational message? How you gonna look your clients and your people in the face and say, I hope you fail? It doesn't sound very motivating to me, but I'm just gonna give you a minute because maybe you need a minute like I needed a minute. Maybe you need a minute just to allow it to sink in just a little bit. I hope you fail. I hope you fail. I hope you fail. And what do you mean, Marshall? What do you mean, I hope you fail? Well, listen, if it means anything to you, listen, I hope we all fail. I hope we all have a failing experience, including myself. No worries. I understand that it is a hard pill to swallow. Where, Marshall, are you going with this on tonight? What the heck are you talking about? You hope I fail. I don't want to experience failure because you said failure is not an option. I don't want to experience that, but I'm telling you on tonight that I hope you fail. First of all, let's define failure. Let's do some definition. Let's dig into the definition of what is failure. Failure is defined as lack of success, the omission of expected or required actions. I will also refer to failure the same way throughout tonight, a lack of success, the omission of an expected or required action. In layman's terms, for me, I broke it down and I said, if it doesn't work out the way that I expected or the way that I had planned, it didn't all come together the exact way that I planned it out. See, I had these steps in place. I had these things all lined up, but it did not work out the exact way that I had lined it up. So I'm putting it in the failure category. If I'm riding my bike and I fall down, that's a failure. That's a failure. Because I didn't stay on the bike and I didn't keep going and I didn't keep going. I consider that a failure, even a lack of, for me, failure for me is also considered even a lack of meaningful progress. It means that meaningful progress, it means that I'm really not doing anything. I'm not making any sort of progress at all. And for me, sometimes I hold myself to a higher standard. And because I'm not quite getting where I want to be and it's not meaningful to me, then I define that as failure. Now, listen to me one more time. I hope you fail. I hope you fail. Marshall, why? Why are you saying this? Because let me let you in on a little secret. Failure is the best teacher. failure is the best teacher. It's something about when you fail, the lessons that you learn in the failure. I can talk all day long about failure, but it's something about when failure shows up in your life. Failure is a teacher. You learn that the stove is hot. I can tell you all day, the stove is hot. Okay, the stove is hot. Don't touch it. The stove is hot. The pot is hot. Put on a mitt. Put on an oven mitt before you go and you touch that pot. But it's just something about it. Something about it, you have to go touch it. But the touch, the heat, you remember. You may not remember me telling you the next time, but you remember this time when you touch that hot stove that it's hot. Bet you remember then. I bet you don't forget then. I bet you don't forget. I bet you won't. I bet you won't. Because what? That hot stove, every time you look at that stove, every time you go to reach for that pot, I bet you remember, oh shoot, wait a minute, that's hot. Oh shoot, wait a minute, that's hot. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to get that oven mitts. You're not going to have to tell me the next time, because I remember from the last time that it was hot. Because remember, I probably still got the blisters on my fingers. I still have the evidence. Because see, failure provides you with evidence. I got evidence of the failure. I got evidence that it was hot. Lack of success provides context and depth to the situation. Failure brings meaning to whatever I am trying to accomplish. Failure, it is something about failure that simply makes you get stronger. You get your strength in the failure. You rear your shoulders back. Your back gets stronger. You get your muscles. You get your tenacity in the midst of the failure. If you want a thing and it's better, if you want a thing bad enough, if you want something better, if you fail in the progress of getting there, you know what you do? You pick your doggone self back up and you keep on going. Because you learn, you said, I learned my lesson and I cannot give up. Failure is about lesson. Baby, you pay the price for that failure. It's about lesson. But it's one that is well deserved. You either learn in failure, you either learn something to do or you learn something not to do. Either way, you learn a lesson. You learn a lesson. You learn a lesson. I don't care which way it goes. You learn something from failure. You learn, okay, wait a minute. Because in a failure, you got to tweak something. You got to make some changes. You have to do something different. No matter what happens in a failure, you are going to learn something. I hope you fail. It will change your attitude. It changes your perspective very quickly. Honey, failure will remind you of how great you are not. Of how great you are not, how you've got to put in the work, how you have to go back to the table, how you have to put the time in, because that confidence that you had, that cockiness that you had, you thought you had it together, you thought you had it all worked out, but sister failure, brother failure came around and put things back into perspective. Because I don't want to repeat the action if I already did it the last time. If I'm going to change, I got to change things up so that they turn out differently the next time. Because if I do the same thing over and over and over again, I'm going to have the same lesson over and over and over again. And I haven't learned anything. I hope you fail after these messages.
Marshall Sterling is available for your next event.
Known for her energetic speaking style and down-to-earth teaching, Marshall has made a positive impact on her audience at every engagement.
Whether it is a keynote address, conference, workshop, breakout session, or staff meeting, Marshall brings the same fire and excitement to every session.
Listen, y'all need to get into this Sterling experience. There is nothing like it.
It's the Sterling experience. It was dynamic.
To be here for the next one, your life is gonna look different when you walk out of these doors.
And if you need a speaker for your engagement, you need to book her. Listen, she's gonna bring the energy, she's gonna bring the fire, she's gonna bring all the points. A+ experience.
To bring the Sterling experience to your next event, scan the QR code on the screen or go to www.marshallsterling.com.
I hope you fail. I hope you fail. I hope you fail. Failure is an option only because we actually learn something in the failure. That's why failure is on the table. Failure is your only option to be able to learn something about yourself and those that are around you. You learn who your friends and your supporters really are in the failure. You learn what's within you and within those that are around you. Are they there because of the benefits, or are they there because they really want to see you make it to the next level? Just fail and find out, because people will then scatter and move about. You need to listen. You need to fail to learn, and you need to learn forward, not learn backwards, listen, you learn forward. You take what you have in the failure and then you switch it up and you tweak it and you change it. Listen, you need to fail and get back up again. A baby learns to walk because they do what? They fall down. They don't stay down. They get back up again and they fall, and they get back up again and they fall and they get back up again. Listen, you need to learn to walk again in the failure. The baby realized how strong they were in the midst of the failure. Get your strength in the failure. Get your strength in the failure. You don't need to take things for granted when you fail forward. You want to know why you don't take things for granted? Because I have cried and I have prayed. I have fasted. I gave up a lot to get to where I am thus far. And if you think I'm going to stand on the sideline during this time, I am not. I'm going to fail and get back up and keep pushing. I'm going to fail and get back up and keep pushing and learn my lesson. I hope that you fail. I hope that you fail. I honor the things that are around me and those that are around me because I have failed. Because I have failed, I know their value. I know how much they are worth because I know what I went through to get there. I know what I had to survive. It wasn't just going to work itself out, but I failed my way forward. I hope you fail. I hope you fail. I hope you fail. And then you see, I want you to allow your failure to be your fire. I want you to allow your failure to be your fire. It's your light. Listen, it's your light of fire underneath you to make you get up and get moving. Your failure is your fire. Your failure is your fire. It's what keeps you going at night. It's my failure. It's the times when the people gave up on me. It's the times when I gave up on myself. When I said I cannot take it any longer, it was the failure that made me continue to show up because it was my fuel. I got determined in that failure. It was something about the failure that just made me keep going. Listen, I'll fail 1,000 times if it's going to get me to where I want to go. You're not going to make it the first time. Nothing was invented the first go around, but it was things that happened in the failure, the hidden opportunities that came through the failure. What if there's a hidden opportunity in your failure, but you don't want to get there and you can't get there because you won't allow yourself to experience the failure? Failure is the fuel in my tank. Listen, I get gassed up when I fail. I'm like, oh, this is what we're doing. This is what's going on. Oh, I didn't know we were doing that. So I showed up and showed out anyway. Then I really had to show up. Then I really had to study. Then I really had to do my research because my failure had to become my fuel. I had to use my failure as my stepping stone to get to my next. To get to my next. My failure is what led to my greatness. What if your greatness is in the line with your failure? What if your greatness is in line with your failure? I failed and invented something that I didn't even know existed at the time. It wasn't really what I was trying to go for, but I failed my way into it. I stumbled my way onto it. Listen, I want you to declare, failure got me here. Failure got me here. Failure got me here. Failure got me here. I would not be here. It wasn't for my failure. Yes, my failure got me here. Failure got me to my next. I have decided to thank my failure, thank my fall. Thank you for falling. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for trying to get me off track. Thank you. I appreciate it, because if it wasn't for that, when I find myself in the situation, I find myself to have gratitude and thankfulness because it showed up. Because if it didn't show up, if it didn't show up, I wouldn't know how strong I am. I wouldn't know what I was capable of if the failure didn't come. I wouldn't be able to survive on this level. See, I'm on this level, but I wouldn't be able to survive if I had not failed. Because see, the failure taught me how to survive on the next level. The failure taught me how to survive in my next level. See, we are so programmed, and we do this, and even in education, I have to stand back sometimes and take my hand out when I'm teaching my students, because I need them to have that productive struggle. I need them to fail, because then they learn grit, and then they learn perseverance, and then they learn determination, and then they become problem solvers and thinkers. See, I don't need to become the problem solver. I need my students to become the problem solver. I need them to gain the grit. I need them to plug in and be able to survive over long periods of time. But if I swoop in to the situation to solve it for them, what did it benefit them? What does it benefit you if your mama, if your daddy, if your cousin, if your friend, if your boss, if your staff, if your spouse, if they come in and solve the problem for you? What did you learn? What did you gain? You gained nothing. Nothing is gained without hard work. Nothing is gained. See, my knees, if I could show you my knees are a little black. Why? Because they're a little discolored. You want to know why? Because I spend time on my knees in prayer. What color are your knees? Because listen here, you've got to spend time. That's how I know that's where I'm learning, because I'm spending time talking to God in my failure, so that I can get to my next. Listen, do you have a couple of scars from your failure? You remember what you did. When you see that scar, I remember what I did to get it. I remember how I fell off my bike. I remember when I stumbled over something, because it was I'm able to look at the scar. Your failure should propel you forward. If you haven't experienced life until you fail, honey, you haven't lived until you fail. I want my failure to fuel my greatness. My failure tells me how great I am. I want to fail and fail often, because it's the way to live. You don't live unless you fail. It is not about how many times I fail. I don't need to keep count on how many times I fail, but I do need to keep count on how many times I keep getting back up and keep getting back up and keep getting back up. I hope you fail. It's not about the times that you stumble, but it's sure heck about the number of times that you decide, that you make the determination to get back up again. See, what one man sees as a failure, another man sees as an opportunity. an opportunity to learn. I've read so many different millionaires that talk about the money and the millions that they've lost, but how they've been able to come back and recoup it all over again and do it over and over and over and over. Because you want to know why? You want to know how they're able to do that? Because they learned in the failure. You couldn't take away, even though I lost it then, you can't take away what they learned in the progress. You can't take away what they learned. You can't take away their knowledge. So you have to learn in the process so that when you fail, you come back greater the next time and 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 greater the next time, because failure produces grit. Failure produces perseverance. Failure produces determination. Failure makes you a problem solver. Failure makes you a thinker. You begin to think in the failure. When you fail, you become a thinker because you have to look at things differently. You are forced not to see things the same way. You are forced not to see things the same way. We will all experience failure. And when you encounter failure, I want you to be ready when you encounter failure. When we embark on a new task, before you start, I want you to do what's called reverse engineer. And I want you to think about, if this does not work out, if this fails, what am I going to do? See, you can pre-plan for your failure. And even in the midst of a fall, when you get ready to fall, you begin to brace yourself to get ready for the fall. How are you going to get ready for the fall? I need you to have a plan of action, a plan of attack, that if this does not work out, what's my backup plan? What am I going to do? And if nothing else, you have to remind yourself that I'm not giving up, that I'm not giving out, that I'm not quitting, that not if, but when, because you should expect the fail. When I fail, I'm going to get back up again. When I fail, I'm going to get back up again and again and again and again and again and again and again. See, One Republic, and I'm giving credit because I don't want nobody to say I stole these people's song, because I did not steal their song. But I like the words because it's the title of the song is I Live. And it says, I hope when you take that jump, you don't fear the fall. I hope when the water rises, you built a well. Hope when the crowd screams out your name, is screaming your name. I hope everybody runs, you choose to stay. I hope that when everybody runs, you choose to stay. I hope that you fall in love and it hurts so bad that the only way you can know, you have to give it all you have. They're talking about that. They're talking about that failure. I hope that when you jump, you don't fear the fall. I hope when the water rises, you built a wall. Come on now. One Republic is telling you. The song, I need you to go out. I hope that you don't suffer, but that you take the pain, because they're talking about living. I live. And the song goes on to say that I lived and I lived and I lived and I lived and I lived. And they give all of these scenarios and all of these situations to talk about, but I lived, but I lived, but I lived, but I lived. Are you living? Are you living? Because if you are not taking the fall, if you are not failing, you're not living. You're not living unless you fall. And the song says, I did it all. Why? Because I failed. Because I faced the situation. Because I fell in love and it hurt. Because I went to go for the job and I didn't get it. I went to go do something, but it did not work out. But I also planned for it to be. I also planned for it to happen like this. Listen, you have to look failure in the face. And not only do you have to reverse engineer and get ready for the failure and plan, what am I going to do in case that I fail? But you also have to look the failure in the face, and you have to take on 10 tips of dealing with failure. 10 things that you're going to do when you're dealing with failure. There's 10. Observe other people's failure. Watch other people. Observe their failures. Learn what they do. That's what I do. It's called reading. It's called research. Go out and look at. It's called talk to your friends. Involve others because other people have failed also. Observe other people's failures. That's number one. Number two, get some distance. Distance yourself away from the situation a little bit. Sometimes you have to leave it at the table and walk away so that you can get a different perspective. Share your own failure story. So when you are observing other people's failures, share your own. Where did you make your mistakes? What did you do wrong? What could you do differently? Share your failure story. Recognize your success, because everything is not a failure. Somewhere in that road, I know I said I hope you fail, but there was some success along that road. Recognize your success. Recognize those great moments and build upon them. Feel the disappointment. Sit in it. Be mad about it. Cry. Feel it. Own the disappointment. Own it. Own it. Recognize it and own it. Focus on the long-term goal. Where do you want to be? Don't just sit there. I hope you fail, but look at your long-term goal and determine, how can this failure help me get to where I want to be? Practice mindfulness. That means positive affirmations. Mind your mindset. Mind your mindset. Practice mindfulness. Practice saying, it's going to be all right. I'm going to make it through this. I've got a plan for this. I reverse engineer. I knew that this was coming. I am ready. Reflect on the lessons that you have learned. That's number 8. Be reflective. Number 9, do less. Sometimes you just need less is more. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes we're trying to do too much all at the same time. Just dial back a little bit and give yourself some self-compassion. You give everybody else compassion and grace, but you don't give it to yourself. Listen, look at the screen. We're going to put all 10 steps back up, the 10 tips for dealing with failure. We're going to put them all back up again, so that you can get them and write them down, so that you can snap a picture, do whatever you have to do to get those 10 tips for dealing with failure. Listen, your failure shall fuel you to your greatness. I hope you fail. This has been your Vitamin M, and we will see you on next week.
Join us next week to get your weekly dose of Vitamin M. Please visit our website at www.marshallsterling.com.